epicenter of American government. But this week, basketball, not politics, dominated the Beltway conversation. All 14 teams from the Atlantic 10 arrived hoping to mount a winning campaign, but only 2 remain on the ballot. The Davidson Wildcats ticket includes a freshman sensation with Steph Curry-like charisma and a senior running mate who garnered Co-Player of the Year honors. Their opponent, the incumbent Rhode Island Rams, are trying to become the first team to win consecutive tournament titles in 8 years. It's Selection Sunday, and the winner of this race will earn the nomination as champion of the Atlantic 10 Conference and continue its candidacy down the road to the Final Four. We welcome you to Washington, D.C. Today, the Atlantic 10 will crown its champion, the number 3 seed. Davidson Wildcats matched up with the number 1 seed, the Rhode Island Rams. How did we get here for Rhode Island? Tight win over St. Joseph's in the semifinals. Davidson, strong victory over St. Bonaventure. Many believe a tournament team. They beat the number 2 seed to advance to the championship. And welcome, everybody. Ian Eagle along with Jim Spinarco, Ali LaForce. Well, this is what March is all about. You've got a team that can steal an NCAA tournament berth with a victory today. That's Davidson playing their best ball of the year. Meanwhile, Rhode Island has been so consistent throughout the year. Senior-oriented squad, but they've got a sophomore right now that's really stepped forward.
And he's been very consistent in Jeff Dowden. This is a very talented offensive team that Rhode Island has, but he has been playing his best basketball as of late. The last 2 games sensational. If he leads Rhode Island to a win this afternoon, he could very well be the MVP of this tournament.
Meanwhile, for Davidson, they started the season 10-9. They've gone 10-2 since that point. They've got a 1-2 punch that would rival any in the Atlantic 10.
And both of them go outside, inside. It's interesting to watch them because there's 2 different looks. Peyton Aldridge on one side of it will shoot the basketball very well. Look at these numbers. 12 of 13 of his last 3-point shots, but he will slip and slide to the basket, so he's a presence underneath. And the other side of it, Grady will shoot the ball long range, but when he goes inside, it's more of a slasher using the basketball. So a very, very good pace for both of them.
All right, Jimmy, let's check out our AT&T Fast Analysis.
When you think of Davidson, sometimes they look like they're in trouble in their offensive sets, but they're very patient. They make the extra pass, and they will get it to the right guy at the right time, especially when the shot clock is winding down. The other side of the floor, Andre Berry had a terrific game in the post for Rhode Island, scoring his points, 12 points in only 14 minutes. So a guy who can really go after it down low. Watch for them to try to feature him down low.
Countdown to tip-off continues. We'll have the starting lineups, and then we'll get things started when we come back. Number 3 Davidson, number 1 Rhode Island. The Atlantic 10 Tournament Championship is next. CBS Sports coverage of the Atlantic 10 Championship is back here in D.C., Davidson and Rhode Island in the Atlantic 10 Championship. Joining you from Capital One Arena, Bob McKillop, 29th season as the head coach of the Wildcats, 5th longest tenured coach in the country, won 7 Southern Conference tournament titles, chance to win his first in the A-10. Let's check out the starting lineups for Davidson, Goodmanson, Pritchard, Grady, Mickelson, and Aldridge. Rhode Island, Matthews, Doughton, Robinson, Terrell, and Berry. And Dan Hurley now in his 6th year. They won the title last year, trying to go back-to-back for the Rams. First number 1 seed to reach the A-10 final since St. Louis did it 5 years ago. Excellent crew. Roger Ayers, Mike Eads, Jeff Anderson here in Washington. Couple of keys you're looking for, Jimmy, early on between these two teams.
I think the first thing I would talk about is the Davidson shooting ability. They space the floor very well. They make the extra pass, but they can shoot the long ball. And not just the two we featured on the open just then, but their entire team is pretty good at shooting it. Will Rhode Island be able to come off the middle of the floor, the paint, get to the perimeter, and force them to drive it a little bit more?
Davidson controls the tip. We're underway in Washington. Keyshawn Pritchett shot it very well from the outside earlier this season. Numbers have come down just a bit, but still impressive from the field. Aldridge on a kick. Repost.
Let's see if they double team him.
Against Robinson, Aldridge gets things started with a deuce.
I think you're going to have to double team him early because I don't think they want to see Aldridge get comfortable in the post. He can shoot the ball from long range. He's been fabulous shooting it from the three-point stripe at 12 to 13 in the two previous.
Just to put things in perspective, Aldridge scored 45 against St. Bonaventure in a triple overtime loss in late February. Dowdy gives it up. Robinson lines it up. Short on a three ball, rebounded by Goodmanson.
So here comes the pace. Watch the pace that Davidson will play at. They're going to make sure guys get a lot of touches unless they have easy shots like that.
Goodmanson to the 10.
What they do is they try to lull you to sleep, Ian. They'll come down, they'll spread the floor totally, and that little layup just then is a byproduct of how they set their offense up, making sure that the middle of the court is pretty open.
Rhode Island beat VCU in the quarterfinals 76-67. Backed it up with a 90-87 win over St. Joseph's in the semifinals. Turnover, Rhode Island.
So here's the little post up. You think they're going to double team, but they don't. So it's a one-on-one. He's got a nice little quick jump hook shot down low. Aldridge does. And then nobody home defensively. An easy layup to get things going.
Aldridge, the co-Atlantic 10 Player of the Year, along with Jalen Adams of St. Bonaventure, one of the co-captains on this team, along with Rusty Regal. Grady feeds it down low. Aldridge, nice find. Mickelson all alone.
Aldridge doesn't even give you time to say that he's a very good passer from the post, especially when he's double teamed. Terrific execution on the weak side just then.
And it's a 6-0 lead for Davidson. These two teams split during the regular season. Tight loss for Rhode Island against Davidson late in the year.
Look at the way they play the middle of the floor, too. When the ball goes to an opposite side, watch them slide in to help out.
Berry ball fake, flips it up and in. Rhode Island is on the board, and it's Andre Berry, who was very efficient in that victory over St. Joe's. Davidson hasn't missed. 3 of 3 to open things up. Goodmanson has got a mismatch with Berry. Goodmanson off the dribble. The blow by. Missed it on a scoop.
Best way to get it to the rim, too. He went under it. Just missed the shot. No deflection.
Jared Terrell gets a touch. It's been a gifted score for Rhode Island. Berry pops and hits.
Wow.
Go figure.
Yeah. How do you guard that? You don't. Because you're anticipating him to slide to the post. Nice reaction and a good recovery just then early on here by Rhode Island to get their offense on track.
He had not scored in double figures in 9 straight games, and then puts up 18 points and 9 rebounds against St. Joe's. From the outside, Mickelson, the fact that this team can go inside out, and they're so confident from the perimeter.
And that's what you have to look for. You have to look for guys like Mickelson who can shoot the basketball, keep everybody honest defensively.
Robinson walking the baseline, and it was touched out of bounds. Last touch by Davidson.
So here's Davidson. The ball comes over here, and he's very good at the post. Little slip cut, and bang, you got an easy bucket again. Nobody home defensively for Rhode Island once again. Little poetry in motion to start it off.
Rhode Island had a 16-game winning streak during the regular season. About as consistent a mid-major as you're going to find. And it's going the other way. Contact on the inside, and it was Berry creating space.
At 6'8", 270-ish, he takes up a lot of room in there. Yesterday they featured him at the beginning of the game, especially against the zone when they were up against that yesterday's ball game. But Davidson will mix it up with some zones and man-to-man to confuse you.
Mickelson out front. This is not a deep Davidson team. They play 7. That's it. Aldridge got it. Peyton Aldridge.
An uncanny ability to get his shot off in traffic, and we haven't seen him shoot the ball from the outside, but that's fun to watch.
Robinson, the penetration. He was met Nice play by Mickelson, but Barry is there and he gets the roll off the offensive rebound.
A little help on the driver. That usually allows a seam to be able to get some offensive glass action working for Rhode Island. Rhode Island will continue to slice this basketball off the dribble as much as they can to the basket.
Barry has scored all 6 of the Rams' points. They trail 11-6. Feed the post. Aldridge, he can't miss.
It's uncanny what he's been doing in the last 2 games and right now into this 3rd game.
Davidson is 6 of 7 from the field. Aldridge went 6 of 7 from three-point territory in the semifinal win over St. Bonaventure.
Yeah, 6 for 6 the game before that too.
Doughton lines it up. Open look, no. Rebound, Goodmanson knocked it over to Mickelson. And Davidson already up by 7. It's Pritchett. Missed it from three-point territory. Comes in shooting 43% from beyond the arc. Pull-up pop. Terrell, bottom. A rainbow 3 for the senior.
Well, when they need somebody to challenge the defense from an offensive perspective, he is the guy that they go to. Whether it's driving to the basket or his outside shot, Terrell is the leader really from a scoring standpoint.
Mickelson lines it up. Short. Same team. Robinson's got it.
Watch for the slashing. They continue to keep it working around the horn.
E.C. Matthews. High arcer. It's a tray.
I'd say that Rhode Island has reacted nicely. The tempo at the first 2 minutes, 3 minutes really played in the favor of Davidson, and now all of a sudden it's picking up a touch for Rhode Island.
1,843 career points for E.C. Matthews. That's top 25 among active players in college basketball. Goodmanson looking for a step. The spin. Nice fake on Terrell. Left-handed lay-in, no. Sticks with the play, and he's fouled. Goodmanson will head to the free throw line.
They went a long time without a break, but this pace is pretty good. Aldridge again, see how fast he gets it. He's almost turning when he catches the basketball, and then the other side of it, Matthews going deep. Rhode Island with an answer.
1-point game back in D.C. Let's bring in the 3rd member of our crew, Allie LaForce. Allie?
Hey guys, when you think of Davidson, still to this day you think of Steph Curry. But it's been a decade since the school's all-time leading scorer led them on that magical Elite 8 run, but he still influences the program every single day. And Kellen Grady is a perfect example. When you look at their freshman years, they had very, very similar statistics. He also influenced him when it came to recruiting. One of the biggest reasons Kellen Grady chose Davidson is because of the success that Steph had here. And we found a photo back from 2011 when Davidson was playing Duke. Steph was during the NBA lockout, and he was there to watch his brother play. And Kellen was so excited to get a photo taken with him. They also took a photo together earlier this year in the locker room. But a huge influence on the program. Coach told us that Steph did send him a text motivating the team before today's game.
And Allie, you mentioned the numbers for Grady, top scoring freshman for Davidson since Steph Curry, who averaged 21.5 points per game in 06-07. Grady is averaging just over 18. And Davidson now with a 14-12 lead after Goodmanson hit 1 out of 2.
And they switch to a 2-3 zone look right now. And it takes a little time for Rhode Island to decide what that is.
Jarvis Garrett is in. He got tripped on the outside by Grady. No call.
Watch out, coming your way. They're a couple of seats over.
I never even flinched. Out of bounds with 8 to shoot, and Rhode Island will hold on to it. Rusty Regal is in for Davidson. Cyril Langevine, the strong backup big man, in for Rhode Island. And a giveaway. Garrett had it knocked away and slammed down. Kellen Grady climbs the imaginary ladder.
Yeah, and actually his first touch from an offensive standpoint to get his first shot off, and it's a good one, an easy one as they slide back into the zone.
Matthews on a kick. Robinson gives it up.
Wow, another off-the-foot dribble just then.
Matthews looking for an opening. 7 to shoot. Doughton, the penetration. Missed it on the inside. Rebound snatched. Langevine out of bounds. He was trying to dump it down low.
Yeah, and I'm not sure Doughton was really in play just then. He might have been out of bounds. Little slip and a toss. Well, you're not going to get an easier steal than that one just then.
Rhode Island has turned it over 4 times. Davidson yet to turn it over Rhode Island looking for some offense, so Fats Russell checks in. The diminutive freshman out of Philadelphia who can provide instant O for Rhode Island.
Yeah, and instant havoc defensively too. When you're bringing the ball up against him, he will really set the tempo defensively.
Working around the perimeter. Will McGarity in for Davidson. Regal, the shovel. McGarity leans in and a travel. So turnover for Davidson, first of the afternoon. Stream live 24/7 highlights, scores and news free across all your connected devices with CBS Sports HQ. Check it out now, cbssportshq.com.
And the turnovers will be interesting because Davidson only turns it over 10 times a game, and Rhode Island will turn you over 16 times. So it'll be interesting to see defensively if they can come after Davidson and cause some problems.
Davidson leads the country in assist to turnover ratio. That's how good they've been throughout the year.
Yeah, a lot of it has to do with the pace they play.
Step travel. Yep. It's Stanford Robinson, the Indiana transfer. Davidson 16, Rhode Island 12, 12:31 to play in this first half. Davidson has won 7 of its last 8 games to put themselves in the position that they're in today to capture their first Atlantic 10 tournament championship.
No Aldridge on the floor right now. Oh, there he is down in the post, rather. Trying to spread himself out so he can get to a shooting position to keep the middle open.
Dive towards the rim. Rejected. Langevine negates him. To the hoop. Garrett, count it, and a foul.
Yeah, beautiful drive by Garrett. It's that little move at the end that gets him to the line, though. They go down the floor in a hurry, looking to get some things happening for Danny Hurley's Rhode Island team. Here's the defensive end of the floor. Gets it before it hits the glass, so that's a legal block. And then watch the right side of his body. Garrett goes hunting for a body. He gets it, and it's not enough to knock him off course for the finish and the layup.
He made a couple of big shots in the second half yesterday for Rhode Island in helping to secure that win over St. Joseph's. Substitution Pritchard in. Regal will sit. Foul was called on Goodmanson, his first for Davidson.
Yeah, and your point about Garrett, well taken with his shots. And I think a lot of that had to do with Russell on the backcourt with him, because Russell and Garrett together just don't let up at the defensive end, even though they're undersized.
Rhode Island trailed St. Joe's by as many as 11 points early in the second half. 1-point lead for Davidson. Oh, there's that defensive presence that Fats Russell brings. He can be a nag.
Yeah, just a quick recovery. That looked like it was developing into a layup. And they thought this was going to be a layup. Not so easy, though.
Atlantic 10 Commissioner Bernadette McGlade in her 10th year running the conference. It's really been an entertaining Atlantic 10 tournament, and the way things are sizing up, good matchup here in the championship with something certainly on the line for Davidson. Rhode Island, they're in 25-6, won the regular season title, high RPI. St. Bonaventure, the feeling is their resume is good enough to get themselves there. Davidson is 20-11, but it's the RPI and the strength of schedule that don't quite measure up.
Yeah, I agree. That 91, it really sticks out on that page. But I'm sure they're not thinking about that right now. Good start, up a point. Pretty competitive game so far. Both of these teams know one another fairly well.
Davidson went their final 40 possessions without a turnover against St. Bonaventure. That was a span of 24+ minutes yesterday. And a foul called on the outside against Garrett. Oh, it's Fats Russell picking up the personal. That's his first.
You know, Russell and Garrett, as I touched on, very good basic guards at the perimeter defense. But I think if you get them within the top of the key area, I think if you get one move by them, because of their lack of size, it's a good opportunity to drive them.
Grady trying to use his height to his advantage, working against Garrett. On the outside now, Pritchett uses the screen, pops short. Knocked to the outside, who wants it? Rhode Island, tracked down by Matthews, gives it up. Terrell doesn't get the roll. Offensive board for Matthews and a reload. Russell rims out on a 3, and the rebound cleared by McGarity.
Very good effort, too, by Aldridge getting back. He was behind the play for a second on that 2-on-1 break.
Davidson started the day 6 of 7. They've made 1 of their last 6.
Aldridge hasn't gotten a touch in a few minutes.
Langevin knocked it away from McGarity. Shot clock is down to 9. Goodmanson using the screen from McGarity. Off the double. Pick and pop. McGarity off the back of the iron.
Nice tip.
Tipped over. Pritchett gathers. Can't finish.
Yeah, he's just been struggling, Pritchett. They need him to step up his game.
Matthews, bottom on a 3.
Yeah, you give up an easy 2 at one end, and Rhode Island reacts and comes right back on you when you're not ready for them.
Rhode Island went 15-3 in the Atlantic 10 this season. The back in by Pritchett. The feed down low to McGarity. Kick out. Grady lines it up. Too strong. And the rebound tracked down by Langevin.
And a nice little tip there off the defensive side by Matthews, too. Against Pritchett. Taller, but he got to it.
Davidson has gone nearly 4 minutes without scoring. We are past the midway point of this first half. 2-point lead for Rhode Island. Matthews with 7 to shoot. Shake and bake move. Matthews flips it. Langevin denied. They're going to run out of time.
Yeah, I'm not sure Matthews, that didn't slip out of his hand either.
Pull up. Grady. Book it.
Nice decision against Russell at 5'10". Use your size at 6'5" to go over. You know you're not going to get your shot blocked. That's an easy one to pull up on.
There's a variety to his game. You can see what he does from the outside, but as the season progressed, he put it on the floor more and attacked the hoop.
Yeah, he is terrific. He'll find a way to slice through sometime this afternoon.
Jumper goes. E.C. Matthews. The 5th-year senior from Detroit. Easy bucket on the other end. It's Kellen Grady. And an opportunity for 3.
And it doesn't take him long to come down the floor and find a way to get to the basket. Good pace back and forth. And you watch Grady use his size and strength there to go by a smaller guard in Garrett. So smart enough to figure that out. And here is a different look. Little pull-up jump shot. He knows he has a smaller guard on him. So you pull up there, you neutralize the quickness and go right up over the top on him with the jumper.
Grew up idolizing Steph Curry. And the numbers have been similar.
Scary, aren't they?
The A-10 Rookie of the Year has given Davidson 21 for the day, tied with Rhode Island with 8:55 to play in this first half. Russell intercepted.
Looking for Berry. That was a good play defensively. Goodmanson.
He accelerates to the hole. John Axel Goodmanson.
And we've seen him twice now go to his left. He's a right-handed player. He's going to his left to try to finish. That one he completed. One earlier he missed, or he would have had another bucket.
The 6'4" sophomore from Iceland puts Davidson up by 2. Terrell, a 3. No. Rebounded by Goodmanson.
Not sure about the shot just then. Just a little bit out of control.
Goodmanson goes behind the back with it, using the screen from Aldridge.
Look at Russell trying to get over screens. Now you got a mismatch if you go to it quickly with Aldridge.
They look for it.
Wow, look at that play.
Fats Russell knocks it away. Terrell drives. Bank shot, no, but a foul.
Boy, what a play by Russell defensively. Davidson isolated. They go with the pick and roll action. They get exactly what they want on the blocks. Tall versus small, and look what happens. He jumps as Aldridge is starting to bring it down to his level, but he jumps into that play to make a deflection. Very well done at the defensive end when you're in a mismatch on the blocks.
First foul on Rusty Regal. Rhode Island turned it over just 5 times in the semifinals. They have 6 already in this first half. Substitution as Stanford Robinson checks in. He replaces Fats Russell. And Jared Terrell, 82% shooter. Hits on a pair. First team All-Atlantic 10. We're tied at 23. Just under 8 minutes to play in this first half. Goodmanson averages 13 points, 6 rebounds, and over 5 assists per game. Does a little bit of everything for this Davidson squad.
Robinson has the job right now of guarding Aldridge. There's a little post-up action. Where's the double? Here it comes. Finally, they double team him.
Hard double from Berry. It leaves Regal open. 3-ball, no. Knocked out of there by Aldridge.
Regal was a factor yesterday in the game, put up good numbers. So watch for him. They may just leave him open to continue to shoot.
He had 10 points and a career-high 8 assists in the win over St. Bonaventure. Grady one-on-one. The spin. Mickelson with 12 to shoot. Grady steps into it. Short. Long rebound to Matthews. Davidson is 1 of 7 from three-point territory.
Oh, little push off. It's going to go the other way.
It's offensive on Terrell. That's a number 2 on the senior. Davidson and Rhode Island playing tight basketball in this first half. We're tied at 23. We check out the game summary. Davidson struggling from the perimeter. 1 of 7 from three-point territory. It's been Rhode Island that's been the better team from downtown.
And that was one of the keys in terms of thinking about how Rhode Island would come out and address the three-point shooting of Davidson. They've done it very, very well so far. Down low, though, this guy can really score. He understands how to go after it. He's just can mix up his offensive game and bury at the Rhode Island end of the side, their floor. Just watch him on the offensive glass. He knows how to position his body. He hasn't gotten many touches to really go. So a good feature in terms of Berry on the Rhode Island side and also Aldridge. A pair of sixes there for those two.
When we asked Dan Hurley about this matchup today, he said, look, we can't give up the 3 to this team. We'll give up some embarrassing 2s if need be. But beating us without the three-point line is going to be a challenge for Davidson. Under 7 minutes to go in this first half.
And what he means by that is he will give up a 2 from time to time, but this is a team, Davidson, if they get hot from the outside, it's really contagious.
Regal doesn't take the 3, penetrates. Oh. Rejected! Do not go in there. E.C. Matthews.
Well, initially Regal had him beaten just for a second, and the close right there, keeping his body away from on the block. Well done. Keep in mind a lefty on that side of the floor. It's his inside hand, so it makes it easier than being a righty going over with your right hand.
Shot clock down to 1. Aldridge, the step back, no. And Matthews guides the ball to himself for the rebound. Matthews, the slip towards the rim. Berry, no good. Aldridge couldn't grab it, and Russell does. Doughton from deep, no. Rebounded by Regal.
Good work by Regal getting back. Usually a guard will go out and guard the perimeter and forget to come back into the middle of the paint to help out his teammates rebounding the ball.
Goodmanson looking to penetrate, forced to give it up. Mickelson has got an isolation there if he wanted it.
They got to get Berry involved moving him. There you go.
Mickelson, pretty spin, couldn't finish.
Yeah, you get the big on big, and Berry, you have to drive him when you get him at the top of the key.
Garrett didn't have enough mustard on it. Berry fights his way through, and he's fouled underneath. Tomorrow on a can't miss Colbert. Stevens all new with NFL MVP Tom Brady. And later in the week from Billions, Paul Giamatti. New Colbert only CBS. Foul call against Rusty Regal. That is his second. It sends Berry to the free throw line where he shoots it at 73%. Pritchett back in. He replaces the senior Regal. Second free throw coming for Andre Berry, so Langevin will have to wait. Misses on a pair.
Yeah, he looked a little tired at the line. And that's why I would try to drive him. You get that isolation again.
Screen out front, Mickelson. Two-man game with Goodmanson.
You see how often they're getting Mickelson involved now just to see if he can get an opportunity to go by Berry.
Pritchett tried to dump it inside. He floats it over the head of both players.
I think you bring that ball to the right side of the floor and then you dump it down to him on the right block. That lob pass over the top from the middle of the floor, very difficult to execute that.
So Mickelson will get a breather, replaced by McGarity, the transfer from Boston College. We're tied at 23. We approach 5 minutes to go in this first half.
McGarity is another guy who will shoot the ball from the outside for Davidson as they slide back into their 2-3 zone. See if there's any high screens.
Dowden's been quiet. Nails it.
Smart play though. Against a 2-3 zone, you obviously want to get to the middle of the floor, but you want to put somebody in there who can make plays, and Dowden has been making plays today and also the previous 2 games.
He's now 1 of 4 from the field from Upper Marlboro, Maryland. Kick out. Pritchett. It's a 3.
Well, that gives him a little life. Just looking over at the Davidson bench, and they are really excited about him making that shot. Let's see if Pritchett can get untracked a bit.
Hop step. Matthews lost it. Out of bounds. Last touch by Pritchett.
So a little bit of a spacing. Nice drive. He fumbles it a little bit, but if Pritchett can start hitting a few of those, boy, is that going to really open the middle of the floor up for Davidson.
He's an energizer for this Davidson team. He can impact the game even if he's not scoring, but the scoring is a bonus, and it's given Davidson a 1-point lead.
But on his limited threes, he will shoot it at about 43%, so it's a shot he's comfortable taking.
Spread the floor. Garrett playing alongside Dowden, the man that replaced him in the starting lineup.
Let's see who's going to flash to the middle. They had success the last trip down the floor.
Oh, that's deep. Air ball. Caught underneath and finished. Langevine in the right spot for Rhode.
Yeah, the old air ball is the easiest play for an offensive guy to retrieve. The defenders are thinking it's going to hit the rim. Their timing is thrown off. You usually see good results on the offensive side of the floor with offensive rebounding.
McGarity on a skip pass. Pritchett feeling it.
Here we go. Just on cue almost, wasn't it?
Keyshawn Pritchett from long range. 6 now for Pritchett. 29-27 Davidson.
Sometimes you can just see guys the way they stand on a court that he has the confidence in shooting the basketball. Now they have to go find him on the perimeter down at the other end. Look at his effort defensively. You think it's lifted him up a bit?
Matthews gives up his dribble. Kicks it out for Garrett. Again, the shot clock winding down. 5 on the timer. Garrett floats it inside, and the finish. Langevine goes off the window.
Yeah, he's been struggling a little bit as of late, but he's a wild card for Rhode Island. If they keep him off the offensive glass, he's very effective.
Pritchett, no. Rebounded by Langevine.
Little slide to his left, brought that to the left side of the rim.
Dowden gets the play from Coach Dan Hurley. The slip.
Got to catch it.
Right through the hands of Langevine. We got a timeout.
Yeah, very active, though, Langevine. He catches that offensive rebound on the air ball right in the correct spot. And now he goes to work against the bigs down deep. What a game so far.
The American Tournament Championship coming up on CBS after we're done here in D.C. Jim Nance, Bill Raftery, Grant Hill, Tracy Wolfson, and the rest of the crew. It's Cincinnati and Houston going head-to-head. And coming up on AT&T at the half, Adam Zucker, Wally Zerbiak, Danny Granger. They'll get you caught up on all the latest tournament news, plus a look ahead to that championship game between Houston and Cincinnati. That's coming up on AT&T at the half.
If you're on one side of the bracket and you see Cincinnati coming at you for your first or second game, I think they're a dangerous ball club. They don't take a play off at the defensive end nor at the offensive end.
Yeah, every year we tend to say tournament's wide open, but most years you can usually pick out 4 or 5 teams that you think have a legitimate chance to win it. You've got to open it up this year.
I think it goes as high as 12-ish. You know, it's the word uncertainty, which I think most people love the word uncertainty when it comes to March Madness.
Pritchett handles it. Davidson started 6 of 7 from the field. They've gone 6 of their last 20. Goodmanson probing on a kick. Pritchett, hot hand. Keyshawn Pritchett has caught fire.
Yeah, and even his one miss out of his 3 out of his last 4 shots, the one that missed was just off target by a second. So he is definitely zoned in as they continue to play their zone defensively.
He averages 5.8 points per game. He's got 9 in the first half, and Davidson up by 3. The penetration by Russell steps through. Floater no, but a foul. He faked out McGarity.
So once again, get yourselves moving a little bit. When you have the offense, ball's looking for an easy way to get things going offensively, and then all of a sudden, he just pops out and waits. Who's supposed to guard him? Well, he has to come in. Garrett helps out in the middle of the floor. Just way too far to go for Pritchett. I don't know about that defensive assignment, though. I think I'd be sticking with Pritchett right now, the way he's shooting it.
Fats Russell Fats is a nickname. Real
Yes.
name is Duran. He was named Fats because he was a chubby child by his mom.
And I noticed that you looked at me when you said the word Fats.
Who was I going to look at? Fats Domino? You were the only person here.
Sorry, okay.
Confident freshman, fearless at 5'10", 165. Is a little dynamo.
No insult taken here. Oh, I might have had a carry.
Danny Hurley has lost it. He believes it was a carry on Grady.
Especially if they score right now, it'll be worse for Danny.
Possession continues with 8 to shoot. Grady swings it. McGarity, a discard. Offensive foul.
There's the rotation Danny Hurley needs from his defensive effort. Watch the little guy take the hit. Good work. He's outside the restricted area. He's got both of his feet down, and he's got good defensive positioning set up.
Jarvis Garrett took the hit. Mickelson back in for Davidson. And McGarity sits with his second foul. So it's Dowden along with Russell, Garrett, Robinson, and Langevin. Guard-oriented Rhode Island squad.
Generally try to have 4 guards out there and 1 big who gets to roam around, hit the offensive glass.
They play small ball, but they space the floor, trying to create some openings. Here's Garrett using his speed. On a kick, Robinson a 3.
To your point just then, get through the seam of the zone, make guys collapse a little bit. That was very, very well done in terms of penetration for a kick out.
Rhode Island up by 1. We approach 1 minute to go in this first half here in D.C. Pritchett, no look. In fact, Goodmanson wasn't looking either.
Yeah, not at all. He turned his head on the ball. I don't think he was in a position really to do anything if he caught it that low on the baseline.
So Goodmanson and Pritchett having a conversation. Rhode Island up by 1 with 1:06 on the clock. Robinson will sit for Rhode Island. He's replaced by E.C. Matthews. Jeff Dowden, the cool and calm sophomore, grew up 20 miles from this arena in Maryland. Denial, Pritchett, the recovery defensively. He just gummed Langevin.
You want to come down, you have a situation here where you can go 2 for 1, but Davidson with a very methodical offensive set. And more important to get the good one. Another backdoor cut, he froze on him.
Mickelson tried to lead Aldridge on the baseline.
Nice recovery. Pritchett has been doing it the offensive end. Gets it before it hits the glass. That's a good block. Davidson D'ing up a little bit that trip against Rhode Island.
Yes. Now some teams that are certainly part of the scuttlebutt. Oklahoma, we know Trae Young is a dynamic talent, but the Sooners have lost 11 of their last 15 games. Will they have enough to make the field? Arizona State struggled down the stretch. St. Mary's, that's another example of a team that played so well during the regular season, but got clipped in its conference tournament, and now they're walking on eggshells.
And ironically, those 3 teams right there may very well be rooting for Rhode Island to win this game.
Yes.
A lot of impact across the country when it comes to selections.
Davidson at 20 and 11, but just doesn't have the resume to get in on its own merits. They need this tournament championship to punch their ticket. 7-second difference. Shot clock to game clock. We're winding down in this first half from D.C.
Both teams have 5 fouls, so if you're a little out of position, you can aggressively try to go for a quick foul. Not on the shot, though.
Matthews, shot clock at 7. Against Pritchett. Matthews missed it with a left hand. Langevin. Did he step on the baseline?
He did. Yep. But that's what Langevin does so well for this Rhode Island team. He's very, very active on the offensive glass, but he just reaches back. Yeah, that's an easy call from the official. Takes away that opportunity down deep.
9th turnover for Rhode Island, first half. Tuesday on CBS. American Pickers Mike Wolf guest stars on a new NCIS. That's Tuesday at 8, 7 Central on CBS. So Davidson with possession, 9.1 on the clock. They trail Rhode Island by 1 here at the tail end of the first half.
You know, the one thing about them is that you want to make sure the way Danny Hurley's team will play aggressively now going up the floor. I'd like to see Davidson get it up the floor very quickly, too, because they're a methodical team. It takes them a while to get into their sets.
Aldridge goes behind the back twice. 3 seconds, 2 seconds. Aldridge, big shot, no! And that's how the half will end. Rhode Island holding on to a 1-point lead over Davidson. The defending Atlantic 10 tournament champions trying to go back-to-back. Allie LaForce standing by with Dan Hurley.
Coach, you held Peyton Aldridge to just 3 made field goals on 6 shot attempts. How did you make it difficult for him in the first half?
Just really trying to disrupt them with our pressure, trying to make his catches as tough as we can, and just trying to take the 3-point line away from him and make him make tough twos.
It was an uncharacteristic start for Jared Terrell on your side. What do you need to see from him in the second half?
Well, he hasn't had the greatest of tournaments. He's going through a little bit of a mini slump here in D.C., but you know, he's done some big things for us the whole year. I expect him to have a big second half.
Thank you, Coach.
Hard alley. End of the first half. Rhode Island 33, Davidson 32 in the Atlantic 10 championship. Now let's go to Adam Zucker in New York. Set for second half action here in Washington, D.C. Rhode Island leading Davidson 33-32. Finals of the Atlantic 10 tournament. Ian Eagle, Jim Spanarkel, Allie LaForce joining us as well. Tight one as expected. These two teams not necessarily playing to the scouting report because Davidson would like to get more offense from three-point territory.
Yeah, and the interesting part to me, too, Ian, is the fact that these two teams have played each other twice before, you know, not too long ago either. And the other part of it is I look out there and I just say they both know one another very well. And consequently, neither team has really gotten into their strengths at the offensive end of the floor.
All right, let's check out those first half stats brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings. And for Davidson, the 4 of 11 from three-point territory, certainly respectable, but expected more from long range in that first half. We'll see if it changes in the second half.
Keep in mind they shoot at 40% on the season from the three-point stripe, so they're much better than that. I think Rhode Island has just reacted very well to find the shooters.
And the fact that Aldridge has been held to 6 points. He averages 21.8 per game. Rhode Island's got a 1-point lead. Let's check in with Allie LaForce.
Guys, I talked to Davidson assistant coach Matt McKillop. He said the big focus was transition defense. He felt like that's where Rhode Island really got in the groove, especially when E.C. Matthews knocked down the big three. He liked when they guarded in the half court. He said both our man-to-man and our zone was solid, and we need to get back to that in the second half.
All right, Allie, thanks very much. Rhode Island with the basketball to start the second half. What a season they put together at 25-6. They come in ranked 25th in the country. They got to as high as 16th in the nation in February.
And I'm betting that Terrell is going to try to make something happen in this second half. Allie's conversation with Danny Hurley before, saying he thinks he's going to have a big half. I think he's going to need to have a pretty good half. Maybe not the best half of the season for him, but a pretty good half for them to be really competitive.
Robinson short on a three-pointer. And now Davidson with a chance to regain the lead.
Little hold coming across the top of that screen by Doughton.
So it is Jeff Doughton picking up his first playmaker for this Rhode Island squad. And Dan Hurley told us that sky's the limit. He's a burgeoning big-time point guard and a calming influence for this Ram squad.
How about Aldridge also? I had no three-point shots in terms of being able to get a good look.
Denial. Terrell jarred it loose. Davidson holds on to it. Grady a three. He's got it.
So we're expecting that Grady and/or Aldridge has to really lead this team. The supporting cast did pretty well in terms of balancing it out in the first half.
The drive to the rim. Matthews is fouled.
So the Wildcats, when their two big guns aren't really scoring, they need other guys to get involved, and that's exactly what happened. Pritchard in particular hit some nice long-range shots, and Matthews just so consistent. He's one of their go-to guys, Terrell being the other.
E.C. Matthews, a 76% shooter. No good on the first attempt. Rhode Island down by 2. Foul called on Mickelson. Misses on a pair. The last repeat champion in the Atlantic 10, Temple, won 3 titles in a row, 08 to 2010. Aldridge is off the mark from downtown.
Yeah, released that one just a little quicker than he normally does.
Splitting defenders. Matthews, scoop shot, no. Wow. And the rebound cleared by Aldridge, who will bring it across.
Yeah, without getting hit on that shot, he just missed that one wide left by a whole lot.
Having a catch with Pritchett. Now they'll get Goodmanson involved.
Somebody's got to put it on the floor and go towards the basket.
Goodmanson tries. Dowden cuts off the angle. Jumper. Grady. Yes.
Well, it's not a lot, but Goodmanson's effort to get to the middle of the paint drags a couple of defenders in with him. Next thing you know, Grady starts to find the range. So let's see how they react, Rhode Island does, in terms of creeping out to him. Remember, he's very good at putting it on the deck and going to the basket, Grady is.
13 for Grady. Dribble drive. Matthews was looking for a call, and he gets one. It is Mickelson, number 2.
So here's the effort, at least. He doesn't get around totally, Ian, but he's trying to get his shoulder past on the inside, and look at all the room that creates for a shooter from the outside. So keep in mind, if Davidson has to, from time to time, I know they play the spread out spacing game, but that's only really effective when somebody starts putting it on the floor. 1 or 2 guys, a catch, go with it, catch, go with it, and then you get your open shots.
E.C. Matthews has cracked double figures, multi-dimensional senior from Detroit, Michigan, Romulus High School. 38-35, Davidson.
Look at Terrell's effort defensively. A little switch out front.
Goodmanson. Down goes Robinson.
Goodmanson stopped for a second there, thinking it might be an offensive foul.
Grady squeezes through. Could not finish with the left hand. Grady clears. And a new shot clock for Davidson.
Yeah, that's exactly what Grady does. You have to expect after a few outside shots.
Aldridge to the hole.
Matthews didn't step across.
And the foul.
Yep, Matthews failed to try to get in front of a driving Aldridge, and that was a mistake defensively. So watch, he goes by the big guy Berry, gets him to move, and you see the swipe just then by Matthews. What you really need to do is step up there and get across and be a defensive position outside the restricted area.
First foul on Matthews. Aldridge converts. He's got 9. And Davidson has opened up a 6-point lead early stages second half.
Yeah, and Berry can't handle Aldridge out there on the perimeter, so it'll be interesting to see if Danny Hurley adjusts.
Terrell using the screen from Berry. Now it's Dowden. On a bounce, Berry.
That's going the other way.
Offensive, all 275 pounds of Berry barreling into Mickelson.
Yeah, and sometimes you can anticipate, and he anticipates perfectly, Mickelson, in terms of where he's supposed to be and understanding what Berry likes to do on that side of the floor. Go to his right, maybe a little jump hook from time to time. A more extended defensive effort here to try to up-tempo this game from Rhode Island's perspective.
It is a 9-2 run for Davidson. Remember, Rhode Island was down by 11 in the semifinals against St. Joseph's before coming back to win it 90-87.
Nice matchup out front with Dowden and Grady also. Remember, this team does not turn it over a lot.
Feed the post, double team on Aldridge. 9 to shoot. Looking for Mickelson. Shot clock is down to 4. Goodmanson makes his move, turns the corner. Goodmanson on a kick. They're going to run out of time.
Goodmanson had to shoot that basketball just then. Interesting enough, with Bob McKillop, I think he sees him coming along the baseline. Go up on that side of the basket. You got to take a shot at it against a smaller guy in Matthews and take your chances.
That's the 7th Davidson turnover. Rhode Island has turned it over 10 times here this afternoon. 16 and a half to play in regulation.
You set this weave up and they look for opportunities to drive it to the middle.
Berry, body bump for 2.
Good setup. Guards with a weave action. They get defensively guys moving around. They'll take it off the dribble and go to the middle of the floor, or they'll look for their big down in the middle.
8 now for Berry. We mentioned Terrell. He's been quiet. Just 3 field goal attempts, 5 points. The back end, Aldridge over Robinson. He's got it.
His footwork is very, very good. That isolation. Robinson's been playing him nicely at the defensive end, but they have to get Aldridge some of his touches.
Peyton Aldridge over 2,000 points in his career at Davidson, 3rd all-time on the Wildcats' career scoring list.
Yeah, I don't think they rely totally, Davidson, on the balance of these other guys.
Terrell is fouled by Mickelson, or do they give it to Terrell? It's a blocking foul. So Mickelson with his third.
Here's the catch in the middle. He gets position and he knows how to deliver. And look at Aldridge using his 6'8" frame to go up for an easy two.
Davidson leads 43-37, 15:40 to go in the second half. Let's check in with Allie LaForce. Allie?
Hey, Ian, just moments ago, you mentioned all 275 pounds of Andre Berry. Well, take this one in for a second. He got to Rhode Island at 330 pounds. So I talked to Daniel Marshall, the strength coach, and he said our goal just his first summer was to get him under 300. So he met with the strength and conditioning coach at 6 a.m. every day for a full hour before the team workout, before the team practice, and still went through the entire strength program that the team did too, just to get down to 300. He ended up getting under 300 the day before the summer was over, and he's continued to lose weight, but it's a lifelong challenge for him, something that he still works on an hour on his own every single day, and it's paying off.
Well, that trainer, Allie, also worked with Dexter Pittman, formerly at the University of Texas, played in the NBA, currently playing in Japan, and Pittman has had some words of wisdom for Berry to help with that conditioning program.
They're trying to get Berry to touches down low also.
Robinson on a kick, Dowden a fadeaway three. It's short. Robinson slips in. It was a box out underneath, and Robinson got around it to get the loose
ball. Did you notice how Pritchard was trying to keep him away from the ball instead of really going to the ball, because Pritchard lost his balance a touch. Get some size, get it to the low side.
Kick it out for Pritchard.
Nice crossover.
Left hand, no good for Grady. Matthews clears for Doughton. It's a 4-point game with 14:40 to play.
We'll see how they spin it to the left side of the floor to trying to get Berry posted up first.
5 to shoot. Doughton off the double team. Berry strokes it off the back of the iron, and it's rebounded by Grady.
I think they missed an opportunity to get Berry that ball in the post about 5 seconds earlier. And a better range where he can score and move and get the layups. Better motion now away from the basketball.
Goodmanson slashing to the hole. That's crafty.
Yeah, did you notice on the left side of the floor, all the Wildcats were moving, setting screens for one another, and a great read there behind, because you look over the defensive player's back.
Catch and shoot Matthews. Rebound snared by Aldridge. Goodmanson.
Beautiful drive that last time down the floor. Here's another
spin. Aldridge attacking the hole, and Berry steps in for the rebound. Garrett to push up the floor for Rhode Island. 6-point lead for Davidson. He traveled.
And as a guard, you want to see over the shoulder of the defender, and he reads it perfectly. Look, nobody on that side of the floor. Berry was the only guy in the middle. A terrific, smart play by Goodmanson.
He's from Iceland. Do you know what high school he went to, Jimmy?
Yeah, hold on a second.
It's 14 syllables.
Yes. It's a good school. Well known for its academics.
You play Wheel of Fortune, you're going to crush it. And Goodmanson turns it over on an offensive foul, the fend off.
My guess is that they didn't put the high school name on their jerseys.
No.
A budget breaker.
Second foul on Goodmanson. 13:19 to play. Rhode Island has scored just 6 points in the last 8 minutes. Can they get Terrell into the flow of things?
They have him on the weave, but he's going towards his left.
Robinson off balance. Out of bounds. Last touch by Rhode Island. It's going the other way. Tonight, a report from the Mexican-U.S. border with video you'll never forget. Plus, the story Oprah Winfrey says changed her life. That's tonight on 60 Minutes.
As this game winds down, and if Davidson continues to lead this game, they're a tough team down the stretch because of the fact they shoot free throws well and they don't turn it over that often.
McGarity.
Reach in.
It is a reach in. Fats Russell was helping out defensively. That'll be number 2 on the freshman. Well, Dan Hurley, we asked about the adversity, that 30-point loss that they suffered late in the season. That was after they had clinched the Atlantic 10 regular season championship. And Danny said, hey, adversity is okay. For his team, it was only about a week. He'll take that every time. But he did mention that they need to play with an edge. They need to feel challenged and disrespected.
And a lot of teams need that, and I think it's part of the Rhode Island mentality, and they're doing it now, but I guess you could say they're doing it against a very patient team, so it's hard to really put your stamp, that edge, on the Davidson team.
St. Joe's drilled them on senior night, 78-48. Russell off, kept alive, and a foul called underneath McGarity.
Yeah, hanging on to the body.
And that's number 3 on the big man. Well, for Dan Hurley. Animated? Is that an understatement?
He's correct. You got the call right.
His father Bob Hurley, his mom Chris Hurley in attendance. Rhode Island well represented here. His dad, a Hall of Famer, longtime head coach at St. Anthony's. And they'll be watching later on tonight to see if Bobby Hurley's ASU team gets into the field of 68.
Terrell going to his right.
Langevin leans in, he's fouled. 2 free throws for Cyril Langevin, the sophomore. Shoots it at just 53%.
See, I think what they have to do is get Terrell. When they have that weave going, Terrell usually comes from the left side to the top of the key area. So you have to get him involved going to his right. A little bit stronger than going to his left. Not a good free throw shooter, too. Around 52% on the season.
This is the largest lead of the day for Davidson, 8. And it stays that way. Langevin missing on the first attempt. Matthews back in. Now he's going to head back to the scorer's table and wait.
You'd be ready to go for the basketball if you're Davidson right now. And from a Rhode Island standpoint, maybe try to get your hand on it if it kicks out, especially Terrell on the left side.
Rhode Island is 6 of 12 at the free throw line, and they trail by 8. Missed them both. Rebounded by Regal.
Good work by Regal. He was the 3rd guy in, so they have to stick around and rebound.
Davidson, 3 players with 3 fouls. Mickelson, McGarity, and Regal trying to build this lead to double figures. Aldridge drives in, fades, no good.
He recognized, too, that he had the wide open shot. He generally does not miss that.
Dowden penetrates. It's going the other way, creating space. Langevin tried to set the screen. He picks up the foul. Davidson in Rhode Island, the Atlantic 10 championship in D.C. Got an 8-point game in the second half. Time for us to take a look at the AT&T fast analysis.
And one thing, when you look at Davidson and their poetry in motion in the offense, you never get a feeling that somebody is hunting down a shot. The other side, Berry, down in the blocks. He's looking for opportunities. See if he can get some more touches going his way.
A big key, just numbers for Rhode Island. Yesterday, they had 22 assists, just 5 turnovers. That's a plus 17. Today, 10 assists, 12 turnovers for Dan Hurley's squad. They're down by 8 with 11:49 to play in the second half. Opportunity here for Davidson, a team that started the year 10-9. They've gone 10-2 in their last 12 games. Top 5 in efficiency in the country. And one of the best free throw shooting teams in the nation. So if they get into a tight game, they like their chances.
Yes, and I think right now it's a perfect time for Davidson. If I'm thinking what Danny Hurley just told his team, come out. Let's get a real good aggressive defensive stop. You see he's picking up right now from the outside, Garrett. A perfect time to think about a backdoor cut if you're Davidson going to the hoop.
Regal outside Aldridge.
And they're patient in it, so they're setting it up. Aldridge just looked for it. It was well defended.
Here's Aldridge one-on-one with the shorter Terrell. Double team comes from Matthews. Out of bounds. Last touch by Rhode Island. 9 to shoot. The Davidson tournament profile, 20-11. Excellent conference record. RPI's at 59. The quadrant 1 record is 3-6. Strength of schedule is low. Jerry Palm's projection: must win the conference tournament to get in. And a foul called. Scraping at the ball, Fats Russell.
That's the 6th team foul for Rhode Island.
And the 3rd personal, so Davidson will have it on the side with 20 to shoot. Keyshawn Pritchett got the hot hand going in that first half with 3 threes. He'll clear it for Goodmanson.
Still, as I mentioned, Diane, watch the spacing and watch for backdoor cuts.
Davidson, the number 2 scoring team in the Atlantic 10 this year at 77 points per game. Rhode Island just behind them at 76.8. Shot clock down to 4. Pritchett lines it up. Too strong. And it's rebounded by Terrell. Rhode Island has gone 4 minutes without a point. Garrett, the Euro, kick. Russell a 3.
That's the shot he hit yesterday when they needed one. Russell hit that same exact shot from the left side. Not right now, though.
Rhode Island has gone ice cold.
And when they take a quick shot, they come back and have to play defense for 15, 20 seconds, if not more. There's your cut.
Oh, couldn't finish it. Grady misses with the left hand. Rhode Island has missed 8 of its last 9 3-point attempts.
I think you continue to do that if you're Davidson.
Doughton fades, and he's fouled on the flip.
So because you see Rhode Island is really leaning towards half court, boy, Grady, if he had 99 more of those, he would drop each and every one of them in the bucket. And watch for this young man, Doughton. Played well yesterday, the day before. He's a takeover type of player, so I would be really shocked if he doesn't get more involved in this last 10.5 minutes of this game. And especially with Terrell, who's not been a factor, only 1 for 3, 5 points so far. So this is his time. Doughton.
Jeff Doughton, who played high school basketball with Anthony Cowan of Maryland at St. John's College. Played AAU ball with Markelle Fultz, the number 1 overall pick in the NBA draft. Still looking to make an impact for the Philadelphia 76ers and get healthy. 47-41 Davidson, 10-12 to play. And a foul called outside. Garrett shrugging his shoulders as he was defending Goodmanson. Don't forget, coming up, Cincinnati and Houston, the American Tournament Championship. We'll have it for you here on CBS with Jim Nantz, Bill Raftery, Grant Hill, and Tracy Wolfson in Orlando. So 1-1 here. They called Terrell on the foul, and it sends Aldridge to the free throw line. Maybe that's the reason why Garrett was upset.
Yeah, exactly.
No call on him.
And now think of what you do. You get to the bonus, and you start shooting free throws, and you have guys who can really knock them down. 84% for Aldridge at the line.
Langevin in, he replaces Garrett. Two out of 2. Davidson is now 7 of 8 at the free throw line. A quick hitter, doesn't go. And it's rebounded by Grady.
Eventually you're going to see Aldridge get a three-point shot out of this at some point. He's got to be in the sequence. He doesn't hunt shots down, but they'll try to free him on the perimeter one time for a big-time shot. Oh, he went backdoor.
Aldridge made the cut. Regal thought he was staying on the perimeter. Turnover Davidson. That's the 9th of the day.
And see the little backdoor cut going that way. And assistant coaches, the bench better be ready.
Rhode Island has turned it over 12 times. They trailed Davidson by 8 with under 10 minutes to go.
There he is going to his right. He's better with a little hedge there. Double team to Terrell.
Matthews works his way in for 2.
Boy, he is just tough off the bounce. when Terrell hasn't gotten it going, as Matthews stepping up with 15 points.
Just a natural scorer. Plays bigger than he is. He's 6'5", 200. 49-43, Davidson. Grady puts it on the deck. Aldridge over Robinson. No. Rebound knocked over to Robinson for Rhode Island. Quick lead feed. Matthews didn't want to take it against Regal off the dribble.
Another good effort by Robinson defensively on Aldridge. Big possession here for Rhode Island to get some strength and offensive confidence.
Drive and kick. Matthews misses on the 3 ball. And the box out by Goodmanson.
They to keep Langevin off the boards.
Grady, body, offensive foul. It's Kellen Grady picking it up for Davidson. It's number 2.
So you have to establish defensive position, both feet. I think there's a little moving there. And Grady a little disappointed with that call, because I don't think there was, I think the frame was fine in terms of being squared up, but the feet were never really established quick enough to pick up a charge.
Rhode Island has not made a 3 this half. They are 0 of 6 from beyond the arc. 8.5 remaining.
Big grunt and grind, though. That's the way they'll get back into this game, especially if he hits one.
Terrell, no. Weak side rebound to Goodmanson.
Yeah, he has to get on track, Diane, and I'd like to see him come across the top screen and go to the basket with it.
All the way, rejected. Langevin was waiting for Goodmanson. Rhode Island on the attack.
Oh, response.
Robinson had it negated. The drive by Matthews, the flip, no. Tip. Aldridge is there.
So the pace is picked up a little bit, right? And that's what Rhode Island is trying to get them to do, Davidson. Now let's see if they really take some air out of the ball for this one possession. You got to keep playing, you have to keep cutting, but do it methodically.
Under 8 minutes to play. 49-43, Davidson.
Here you see they're working it down to 10 seconds.
Goodmanson, 7 to shoot. Handed to Regal. Ball fake by McGarity. Shot clock at 2, at 1. Grady a fade. Side of the rim. And the rebound to Terrell.
Yeah, Rhode Island stepping it up defensively. The last 3 possessions playing very, very hard, aggressive defense, and now their fans are trying to get them to score at the offensive end.
Dowden handles it. Matthews watched by Goodmanson, sizing him up. The cross, the drive, off the window. E.C. Matthews goes to the bank. And it's a 4-point game with just over 7 minutes remaining.
And a nice timeout by Danny Hurley just then to reinforce the positive. Here's a layup for a second, and then it's negated. And he's a lefty going left, making things happen. And Danny Hurley happy with that effort.
49-45, Davidson in front. Dan Hurley likes to call a senior combination Batman and Batman. E.C. Matthews and Jared Terrell. Only one Batman has really shown up in the box score so far.
Don't count Terrell out, though. Plenty of time, and if I were Danny Hurley, I'd be talking to him a little bit, not to over-exaggerate it, but just get your head back into the game and just keep playing. Don't worry about stats. We have 7 minutes and change here. Forget about whether you're 1 for 5 or 3 for 10 or whatever your number is. Just go after it and play some basketball, and good things will happen.
E.C. Matthews over 1,800 career points at Rhode Island. Terrell over 1,700 career points. That's why Dan Hurley has relied on those 2 guys over the length of their careers.
Little switch out front again. They've been switching the guard play. That's because of their size. Rhode Island can do this interchangeable parts.
Mickelson takes Langevin away from the rim. Lob it up. Mickelson. That ball hit the rim as Mickelson was leaning in trying to catch it, and a foul call. Terrell upset at the whistle. 49-45, Davidson. Game summary, neither team has shot it well. Rhode Island in the second half, 0 of 7 from three-point territory, not making their free throws either. And frustration for the Rams because Jared Terrell has picked up his 4th foul. That's one Batman for Rhode Island. The other Batman, E.C. Matthews, has carried them.
He has. He's made the big shots to keep it close. And a lefty player who's very, very good at getting to his left and driving. Here you see a little bit of a fake out and go to the basket again. If you're Davidson, you have to, down here the last 7 minutes and under, you have to go after him and make sure you force him to his right. If he's going to beat you, go right with it. Terrell will sit for another 2 minutes or so, maybe to the 5-minute mark.
Four-year starter currently on the bench for Rhode Island. Mickelson, a 73% shooter, good on the first. Oscar Mickelson from Finland. This is something that Bob McKillop has been doing for a long time, recruiting internationally. He realized that he wasn't going to get the cream of the crop in his recruiting areas, opened it up, and has found some gems overseas over the last 20-plus years.
Yeah, and actually when they get to Davidson, they get better and better because they have a great development program.
Doughton.
Good hands.
Knocked away by Goodmanson. Another international import from Iceland.
Yeah, Doughton usually is tall enough to go over the top with that pass.
Goodmanson under control, one-on-one with Doughton. We approach 6 minutes to play, a 5-point lead for Davidson.
And be surprised right now if Davidson tries a risky pass.
To the corner, Pritchett, short on a three.
Yeah, hit a few of those in the first half, coming up short in the second.
Garrett handles it for Rhode Island. Hands to Matthews, a three.
Yeah, somebody's holding.
Rebound action, and they're pointing the other way. It's going to work against Rhode Island. After the teams are chosen and the matchups have been made, join CBS Sports Network for in-depth analysis of every region and an early look at who has a chance to win it all. Don't miss NCAA March Madness Bracket Breakdown. That's tonight, 8 Eastern on the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. It is Langevin. That's his second. Team fouls now piling up. 9 against Rhode Island. Mickelson hits the front end of the 1-and-1.
Yeah, and a 73% shooter, as you mentioned a moment ago, Ian, though, but when you get back-to-back opportunities like that, his one that he missed felt good to him, I'm sure, and then you get right back in and you hit 3 out of 4 just because you've been to the line within 30 seconds.
And now Mickelson will sit, replaced by McGarity. Davidson is now 10 of 12 at the free throw line. Mickelson has scored 8 and he's grabbed 4 rebounds. The lead is 7 for the Wildcats.
This is what they like, that high weave to try to get something going to the hoop.
Robinson on a kick. Doughton, he's got it, a three.
He's been money the last 2 games. As I mentioned about 3 or 4 minutes ago, watch for him. He's going to get himself involved, especially without Terrell playing well.
They were 0 of 8 prior to that. Twisting inside. Goodmanson misses it. Matthews protects the ball. Rhode Island down by 4. And they'll settle into a set here with 5:09 to play, second half. Doughton, the drive, the kick, ball movement. Garrett lines it up. Bottom! It's a three!
Well, once again, the play of Doughton, he hits a big, big 3 on the right side of the floor, but then comes down and settles this team. One of the things he's very, very good at is making sure guys are in the right spots, and they executed perfectly just then.
It's a 10-3 run. Knocked away! Langevin with a steal. Rhode Island can regain the lead. Garrett slows it down. They'll work it through Doughton with 4.5 to play. Doughton matched up with Pritchett.
Likes to go to his left for his jumper, too.
They fake on a double.
Here it is.
Doughton jumper. Bullseye!
He's been doing that for 3 games. Same exact spot on the court, Iron. Getting the ball at the top of the key. He's so under control. What a recovery by Rhode Island in a matter of about a minute or so.
This is a resilient squad.
They grunt and they grind. Here's what sets it up, though. That's the momentum starter. Then all of a sudden he kicks it out. They keep moving the basketball. Bang, Garrett takes his shot from long range. And then once again, when he goes to his left, he loves to pull up. A 1-point lead for Rhode Island.
Welcome back to DC, where Rhode Island has just taken a 1-point lead. And if you thought Dan Hurley was animated before, he's more animated than ever. He just told his team, this is our time. They are tired. Davidson is tired, so take it right at them. He said, now I know we're having a lot of fun, but make sure we play defense and rebound and stick to our principles. Let's finish this out.
At Alley, it's an 8-0 run for Rhode Island. They have their first lead of the second half. Yeah, we mentioned early on with Davidson, it's not a deep team, so you get into this kind of dogfight, and fatigue could factor in. It's been a 3-game run here for Davidson, trying to punch their ticket to the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, and the one thing that's a positive for them is the way they play and the style. They're not a run and gun team, so they can get away with the lack of depth. Here's one set that they have to execute totally on.
Can the Wildcats answer? Not on that possession. They couldn't get it to Aldridge. And now Doughton content in slowing it down. We are under 4 minutes to play.
And that was a little bit of a force just then.
Matthews out front against Pritchett.
Keep in mind, see if they jump him when Matthews gets the ball.
Robinson swings it. Langevin. Back out. Matthews, 7 to shoot. Matthews lines it up. Oh, he's got it! E.C. Matthews, an off-balance 3.
Boy, it's just a simple set. He gives the ball up, goes around the curl, goes to the baseline, and just comes back out to the top. A huge, huge effort and shot.
20 points for Matthews, 11-0 run for Rhode Island.
And Robinson continues to stay on Aldridge and shutting him down, not letting him touch the basketball.
Goodmanson.
That's going.
And a foul called on the drive, but double bonus here for Davidson.
So we have a little cut here. Watch the little play. Ian, it's nothing really too fancy. He comes off that screen, and then little step back. And Pritchett just a little bit too far away. You have to get back out on top of him and jump his right side of his body.
First one goes down for John Axel Goodmanson. Father played professionally in Germany. Gudmundur Goodmanson. That's all I got, Jimmy.
I won't tag that with anything.
56-54, Rhode Island. We will hit the 3-minute mark of the second half.
So Matthews getting his touches. They're jumping his left side now to see what he can do going to his right. See how difficult it is for him?
8 to shoot. He saved it for Doughton. Doughton the penetration. Doughton leads it. And a foul called. Langevin in the act.
I like the defensive jump that they have. Matthews going to his right. And then the squeeze pass here. And that's a good call. A lot of control. Watch 15 as he reacts. He's going to turn. Nicholson, and then his right arm comes out initially with the contact.
So that's number 4 on Oscar Mickelson.
But only a 52% free throw shooter at the line.
And 0 of 2 today. Cyril Langevin. It's good. Born in Guyana. From East Orange, New Jersey. Attended the Patrick School in the Garden State. He's worked hard to make himself a legitimate rotation player.
He'll stay on the line and finish your shot. The first one looked pretty good.
Had a sports hernia first 2 months of the year, has worked his way back from it, and he goes 1 out of 2. 57-54 Rhode Island.
This team is never in a hurry, and they shouldn't be in a hurry now. They don't need the 3, but if it presents itself, make sure you're ready to shoot it.
Grady on the move, swings it. Pritchett rims out on a 3. That would have tied it with 2.5 to play.
Yeah, and that's a Davidson set just then. Well designed, well executed, and the ball just faking like it wanted to go through the rim and net.
Davidson now 2 of 7 from 3-point territory in the second half. Rhode Island trying to add to its lead. Doughton swings it. Gets it back with 9 to shoot.
Remember, he likes going to his left.
Doughton, Mickelson shades in that direction. Shot clock is down to 3. Oh, the killer crossover. Doughton doesn't get the roll, and it's rebounded by Goodmanson.
Oh, that's a real solid rebound. I was going to say a good rebound by Goodmanson.
Goodmanson cut off by Garrett. 1:49 to play, and a foul away from the action. It is Doughton. Number 2 on Doughton.
Here's a right-handed player who loves to go left. And look at this drive. I still don't know how he missed it. I do, because he basically had to extend just a little bit, but I've seen him make that shot before. And he knows that's one that he should have had. He's a little frustrated down the other end with his hands doing the defensive work.
Grady All net on that first free throw. 79% shooter. 14 for Grady. Terrell in. Garrett sits. No doubt about it. He has cut it to 1. Davidson is 14 of 16 at the free throw line. They'll protect Mickelson with those 4 fouls and bring in McGarity with 1:49 on the clock.
Yeah, with Terrell on the floor also, don't nap on him if you're Davidson. I know this ball's been going through Matthews a lot. It's also been going to Downton. Terrell not afraid to step up and still take a shot on a bad afternoon.
57-56. Rhode Island. 15 to shoot.
Want to stay away. The big guy doesn't want to foul right there.
Matthews crosses. Matthews lost the ball. Turnover, Rhode Island. Davidson will take over with 1:27 to play.
Yeah, it's a little thing with McGarity too. He steps out. He does a pretty good job defensively, and then Matthews just loses the possession. See it again. Grady with him. No bump. Just lost the ball before he actually got close to him.
They are going to the monitor to check and see who it bounced off of.
So under 2 minutes. If there are two or more players involved, they can take a look.
It was Grady there defensively.
Well, for the last 2 feet, nobody hit it.
No.
And I got to believe that Matthews may have been the one just then. I didn't see Grady in a position to get to the ball.
Nor did I.
Yeah, okay.
He had turned the corner on Grady.
Right. And the ball disappeared. And you could see Grady's 2 hands. So good call from the officials.
And Davidson takes over with 1:27 on the clock.
Remember now, he can't run with this press. He's got to stay relatively stationary. He's got about 1.5 feet on each side that he can take a step for a better angle to get this ball in if he needs it. Clean entry.
Gets it in for Pritchett. He'll bring it across for Davidson, trailing by 1. Aldridge swings it for Grady.
See if he can drive it.
Off the dribble. Grady floats it up and in. Kellen Grady with a beautiful move to the rim.
Does he ever know how to get the baseline as his friend in terms of going across and getting his body in a position to deliver? I will tell you this, Ian, going to your left along the baseline, you have to first clear yourself. Make sure you get yourself in a position to get the shot, but that is not an easy floater from that perspective and that angle. Boy, what a terrific move and finish.
Well, we know what month it is. 58-57, Davidson leading Rhode Island. The Rams are out of timeouts. They've got possession with 19 on the shot clock, trailing by 1. Langevin with the defensive play of the day.
Yep.
Came out of
Fabulous.
nowhere for that block on Kellen Grady.
So with this lineup and most lineups that Rhode Island has on the floor, there's 4 guys who can go to the basket. So think about a high screen and a drive to the basket. Watch for Langevin on the offensive side, looking for him on the offensive glass with a tip-in or a follow.
10-second difference, shot clock to game clock winding down in a 1-point game. Down 9 to shoot.
Good
They
hit.
double, now they back off. Robinson, shot clock at 5. Robinson strokes it. Robinson rims out. Grady came flying in, and he's out of bounds. 10.8 on the clock. Rhode Island will control it.
Yeah, I think he just lost his balance with this rebound. A little fade, gets the shot up. Very soft. And I don't think there's any pushing down low, so it's a good call from the officials. And Davidson had 2 timeouts. They're going to talk things over.
So Bob McKillop will use one of them with 10.8 to play.
They get a pretty good look from Robinson. And this ball is up for grabs, and unfortunate that he just lost his balance.
Yeah, Grady trying to indicate that he was pushed. There was nobody there.
I didn't see anything there on the push. He came running in, so his momentum was carrying towards the baseline, and I thought he just lost a little bit of control after he stretched for the basketball for the rebound.
Rhode Island was the best team in the Atlantic 10 this season. They finished the year at 25-6 and 15-3 in conference. This was the look that Stanford Robinson got for the lead.
I mean, you can't ask for a better shot from about 15 feet away.
This Rhode Island team won a game in the NCAA tournament last year. They beat Creighton, then lost to Oregon in a tight one. .8 left on the clock.
You got to watch for the slip cut, make sure it's going towards the corner.
Terrell triggers in. Matthews, 8 seconds, 7 seconds. Matthews one-on-one with Grady. Matthews trying to create space. Dowden fires! It's an air ball with .6 on the clock. Davidson will have the basketball.
The initial set was absolutely perfect right there with Grady. I know Dowden misses the shot right because he's floating to his right, but the initial defensive set over on Matthews, not allowing him to do anything with the basketball, was key before Dowden shot.
The officials are heading to the monitor.
And just to check the time.
Right now, .6 on the clock. And they're just going to determine how much time will be left on the clock.
And remember, Ian, this is when the ball hits out of bounds. So let's see.
Yeah, .9.
Yep.
So they'll tack on 0.3 of a second. Currently at .6. And at this point, for Rhode Island, you're looking at a quick foul and a miracle after free throws for Davidson. An amazing story here developing for Davidson College.
Yep, 2 terrific closeouts just then. And where do they go? They go to .9 on the clock.
.58-57 Davidson. Rhode Island backs off. And now Aldridge.
Just somebody has to touch it.
High school quarterback tosses it in, and it's over. Davidson is going to the dance. They win the Atlantic 10 Tournament Championship. 58-57 over the defending champs, Rhode Island. Davidson has punched its ticket. The number 3 seed in the Atlantic 10 tournament. They are going to the NCAAs. Well, congratulations from Dan Hurley and the Rhode Island squad. Rhode Island is in.
Right.
No question about that. The question today was for Davidson and whether or not Bob McKillop could get his team into the big dance. The answer is a resounding yes.
Well, that whole bench was taking a huge, deep breath when that ball was in the air coming down, and all they needed to do was touch it, but unfortunately, the negative side of tournament play.
Allie LaForce with Bob McKillop.
Coach, congratulations on the win. Enjoy this moment with your son if you want to. You took the lead to win. What was the strategy down the stretch?
You know, we played with joy throughout this tournament. And we've played with joy for about a month and a half now, and these guys have me smiling. I'm happy for them.
Another one smiling next to you is Peyton Aldridge, the senior leader of this team. What's it like to see him get the opportunity to go dancing?
You know, his determination and his grit, toughness, and if you only knew that he's even a better person than he is a player. And we're very, very fortunate in my life to be able to share 4 years with him.
Coach, congratulations on the win. Peyton, you got to go dancing your freshman year. Now you get to go dancing again. What do you like about the way this team's playing basketball right now?
I mean, we're just fighting every chance we got, every opportunity the guys just give it their all, and it's unbelievable to just, I mean, freshman year getting there, to get back their senior year, it means everything to the seniors, and I mean, I know everybody else really understands how much this means to everybody.
There was only one way to guarantee that you were going to the NCAA tournament. It was with the win today. What has been your message to your teammates?
Hey, we just wanted to go out there, play, and have fun. I mean, we don't have many opportunities together as a team, and we just wanted to make the most of it.
Thanks, Peyton. Congratulations. Enjoy it.
Thank you.
All right, Allie, thanks very much. What a story for Davidson. First ever Atlantic 10 tournament championship. They joined the conference in 2014, and this one is sweet. It guarantees them a spot in the tournament.
Yeah, and the one thing, we talked about Rhode Island and the way they were grinding and getting back into this game, but Davidson had to grind to win this game. What a terrific effort for Davidson. They should really enjoy this.
So for Jim Spinarco, Allie LaForce, and the rest of our crew, Ian Eagle saying so long from Washington, D.C. Davidson wins it, and they're going to the big dance, 58-57 over Rhode Island. Coming up, Houston and Cincinnati, the American Conference Championship. We'll send you to Adam Zucker in New York with Inside College Basketball presented by Progressive Insurance right after this.